Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Fight Sport Manila Verbal Sparring!
Hey guys, what's up? This is Paulo Gonzales and welcome to a surprise episode of Fight Sport Manila Verbal Sparring. I know guys, it's short notice, but it's a very amazing guest that we have in today's show. That's why I'm telling you, make sure you follow us on all our socials so you'd be in the loop. Also, as I always say, our intro is announced by none other than the legendary voice of MMA, Lenny Hart. And you yourself can add Lenny Hart in your phone, in your podcast, as your ringtone, or whatever. All you have to do is visit lennyhart.com and you can see all the details there. Another cool thing that we have in the show is we keep giving prizes. And there's a good company that's sponsored us for today's show and all the future shows coming, and that is Bad Boy Philippines. As you can see, I'm wearing Bad Boy Philippines on my shirt, and you could get yours too by visiting ph.badboy.com or check Bad Boy Brands PH at Instagram. So make sure you like all their socials because that's how we're gonna give it. We'll be giving away a few prizes. So let me show one of the prizes that we'll give away. This is an IG exclusive prize. This is the legendary fight shorts of Bad Boy. All you have to do is wait until the end of the show and we'll post it immediately on Instagram. So make sure you follow our Instagram and Bad Boy PH Instagram. But on today's show, like in this show, we are giving away this Bad Boy shirt. All you have to do is comment down below and we will pick a random winner. And as always, joining me is my tech guy. It's his birthday yesterday. Let's give it up. Paulo Gonzales.
And what a birthday it is. Hi, guys. What better birthday gift than have a surprise show with one of the biggest icons in mixed martial arts, Mr. Mark Hunt. And as usual, I'll be reading all your comments. We have the team with us. We have Mark, we have Ken on backstage just to moderate everything. So we're really excited for the show. And that introduction never gets old. And I can't wait to have Mark Hunt on here.
Well, let's wait no further. Let's introduce our guest. He is known as the winner of the K-1 Grand Prix tournament, and he's an icon. And he fought in all major organizations like Pride, UFC. So let's give it up for none other than the Super Samoan Mark Hunt. Hey, Mark, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Hey, thanks for having the show.
No, thank you for having us. For those who don't know, this was like a 14-hour invitation, and you already accommodated us. So we're so grateful for you to do that to us.
Hey, you're welcome.
Hey, how's the situation right there right now? Like, have you formed a new hobby, or are you doing something cool that the fans should know?
I'm just doing my usual stuff, just trying to get back into training and spending time with my children and waiting for, like everyone else, for the COVID virus to piss off.
Yeah, man. Like everyone is waiting for it to like go away because it's such a strange time. And actually, you being here makes everything better because you uplift the moral of the Filipinos who are watching this show. And speaking of your family, I see you are you went doing some TikTok videos, man. Who talked you into doing them?
Well, that's my son. He's always on TikTok, so he's always having fun on TikTok. So I did a couple of videos with him, so he's having fun. He's good.
Oh, those are some fun videos, and it's a good bonding thing between family. Now you
Yeah, of
mentioned
course.
training. Like I saw you when you were messaging us. I saw you had a story that you were doing a 5 a.m. jog with Tui Vasa. I mean, what preparation are you working on?
I'm just getting back to training and losing some weight and just normal training. We normally finish all our sessions by 3 o'clock, so we have 3 sessions for the day. So um, I'm just preparing for a boxing match, and Ty's just getting ready to go back over to AKA in America, I think.
A boxing match. That's a first. Like, is this a standard boxing match with gloves? Because there's a new boxing match where you use bare knuckles, man.
Yeah, I was talking to those guys also, but a lot of rumors and a lot of lies as contract goes these days with these kind of promoters, to be honest. So but yeah,
So
sorting out
is
a
there any?
boxing fight for September.
Oh, wow. So like, is it going to be in the U.S. or here in Asia?
No, not in Asia or the US. Back here at home in Aussie in Sydney. So yeah, looking
Oh,
forward to that.
yeah, definitely. We are going to tune in because, like, one of the things that you are most famous and known for is your walk-off KOs. So, have you tried? Is this your first foray into boxing? Because I know you've done kickboxing. I know you've done mixed martial arts, but a straight-up boxing match. Is this the first time you've done it?
No, I've had 2 boxing matches when I started when I was a long time ago. To be honest, when I turned well, actually when the sneaky promoter turned me pro, I I had one draw and one loss. So I had not a good start in boxing, and that's how it went. And then I went and did kickboxing and Muay Thai.
Well, I think now is the perfect time to redeem yourself. And speaking of boxing, boxing is the one of the most lucrative sports in terms of paying their athletes. Oops, are you good? All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I was saying, boxing is one of the most lucrative sports in paying athletes. Is that the main reason why you decided to do a boxing match rather than a mixed martial arts match or a kickboxing
Well,
one?
well, I love both sports. I mean, I stopped kickboxing because I already became the world champion in 2001. So like 20 something years ago, 20 years ago. I stopped doing mixed martial arts because I was, sick of working for the crooked company UFC. And they just took my love for fighting away. To be honest, I was sick of working for such a grubby company. So boxing. I just got my hunger back for fighting. I'm 46, and I wanted to make some more money and retire properly. To be honest, so I was a bit upset with the working for such a just bloody crooked company.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of talking about your former company, you are one of the prominent faces who speaks out loud against them in terms of drug testing or how they pay their fighters. I saw in a podcast that you were trying to recruit Jorge Masvidal. Is there any updates of other athletes that you tried to recruit or who is willing to join you in this cause?
Well, the thing is, I'm with already a class action. One of my lawsuits, I'm in a class action already lawsuit. We're trying to bring in the Ali Act. The issue here with these other fighters is, and it's not up to, it's up to themselves to make the change. They can stay and keep getting paid a pittance for what they do. To be the best fighters in the world. So why would anyone want to be one of the best fighters in the world when you're getting paid like them? Um, I the thing is with fighters, they have management and
Hmm.
it's on them. The managers like to keep things in house and not tell their fighters the actual truth about the whole thing, about how much money they're getting, and that's the problem. I've always my issue started with the steroids with this company and how they never
Yeah.
enforced anything of any of their policies, and I joined the lawsuit, the antitrust lawsuit, because it's another thing they're doing. Another rip-off crooked thing that they're doing is cheating these fighters out of what they should be earning, and that's a problem when you're getting paid minimum wage and being ripped off to be supposedly the best fighters in the world, and you're with the company that everyone watches. Despite
Yeah.
what people say, it's a new company, it's a new sport. That's just garbage. It's new compared to the other sports because the other sports are old.
Yep.
But it's
Definitely.
not new as in the revenue. They're making truckloads of money, but the fighters are only sharing like maybe 12% of the revenue. I thought it was 4. But I think it's 12% of what they're sharing, and compared to the basketballers in the other leagues, I mean, as they share 40%, as you can see, it's
Mhm.
it's just a joke.
Yeah,
They're not
definitely.
even they're
You
not even
did.
employees.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that is indeed true. And yeah, another thing regarding that is you would be more open if it was a 40% share. Or what are your thoughts about other fighters trying to like hold off fighting just to get a higher pay? Is that a smart move for them, or is that what all fighters should do?
If all the fighters at their roster said, "I'm not fighting for this company until we share 40% of the revenue," there's no company. If all the people that support the UFC realize that their money is not going to these fighters or part of it, they're only sharing 12% of it, they wouldn't support it, would they? And you pay to watch
Definitely
pay per
that.
views, not to watch Dana White and that drop kick and the rest of those dickheads talk shit. You pay your money to fucking watch fighters fight, and for that, for their blood and their sweat, they get paid, should be getting paid accordingly. But the issue here is that companies getting. I mean, how all a company works, but this is the blood game. The companies, they're not even sharing a proper share of it. I mean, one guy said to me, the UFC fighters, they make up 10% of the company roster.
Yeah, definitely that is indeed
Take,
true. And oh
yeah,
yeah, please go on. Sorry.
take away that 10%. What do you
Yeah,
got?
man, that's
Take
90.
away that 10%. What have you got? The guy's a
Yeah,
moron. I was like, dude, they might make 10% of their company, but without them, you've got nothing.
yeah,
Let's pay to watch
definitely.
Dana White talk shit. Let's give him a hiding. Fuck that dickhead needs a hiding.
Yeah, you do you are, like I said, that's why we want you here, because you are very more vocal and more knowledgeable regarding this pay structure, and now everyone knows that they're getting this kind of number. Aside from the pay, is there
Joke.
anything else that yeah, definitely, is there anything else that you want them to improve? Like, I've
Well,
also
look,
heard in the pod, yeah, please go on, sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I've read in or I've heard in a podcast that you also want compensation, like if an opponent who loses and the winner gets popped up for performance enhancing drugs, you also want compensation or a just punishment for the one who got popped.
Well, how it happened with my first lawsuit is I kept fighting guys that were on steroids and cheating, and nothing was happening. I wasn't moving ahead in the records. I was just becoming my record was just a no contest. I wouldn't get any money. I'll just be like, okay, the guy was cheating, and what are you going to do about it? So I asked them once. It happened once before. Put him through the process. The next time I asked again, what are you going to do? We're going to put this guy through the process. Third time I asked again, what are you guys doing about it? But this time I had broken my hand in two places.
Hmm.
I bought Bigfoot. I broke my hand. He went through the process. He got 9 months suspension, and I sat there and watched him fight before I did. I
Hmm.
didn't earn a cent for the whole year, and I sat there and watched him, and I was like, he got suspended for a year, yet I'm the one sitting out with my broken hand with 16 screws. So
Yeah,
I got kind
definitely.
of really upset about it, and what broke the upsetness with me was with that dickhead Brock Lesnar. They allowed that guy. They gave him a 4 month waiver to cheat, and yet they were selling their company now. And then they go and say, "Oh, we're doing the testing on this guy. He's the most tested athlete in the world." And then they give him the 4 month pass. I'm like, what? Why would you do that? I mean,
Yeah,
people said,
definitely.
and you knew he was cheating, and you still fought. And I said, well, look, man, you can look at someone and suspect they're cheating or whatever you think it is, but you don't actually know until you actually go and take blood from them.
Yeah, speaking of
If
the
you try to take that to a court of law or anything, they'll just look at you. Well, how did you know he was cheating? He goes, well, look at him, and the judge says, I can look at you and know that you're stupid. It's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
ridiculous. Some of these guys just have no idea. And what upset me the most with this company that really upset me is I they wanted me to fight a guy named Josh Barnett. He's a fucking cheater, and I said I didn't want to fight the guy. And then they kept hounding me about it, and I said, look, okay, you want me to fight this freaking cheater? Okay, put in a clause in my contract saying if he gets popped or caught for cheating, take off all the money from him. You don't even have to give it to me. Just take it off him. I don't want him to earn a cent. And they said no. I wouldn't. They wouldn't put the clause in. 2 days later, the guy pops for steroids, and I started laughing, going, "Geez, it was just a joke." So the next fight came along. It was another dickhead cheater called Alistair Overeem. They said, we want you to fight this guy in Vegas. I said, same thing again, dude. I'm sick of fighting cheaters. You're not doing anything about it. I want to put a clause in the contract saying if he gets caught or cheating, take off all his funds. You don't even have to give it to me. Just take it off him. I don't want him to make a cent from cheating. And they said no. But this time they sent me a letter saying if I don't take this fight, they're gonna fire me.
Wow.
So what
And
kind of bullshit company is this? And that's why I got really sour and bitter working for these freaking slavers, like, and all the bullshit they do, and they're still doing it now to this very day with all their fighters. And a lot of fighters need to stand up and say, I don't want to fight with this company unless they get a fair shake of the money or whatever. I mean, we're trying to fight hard with these things in court, but we've got no money. Like these guys have got all the money. They've still stolen everyone's money from you guys, from all the people that are paid to watch them support their company, thinking they're supporting fighters, which they're not. And a lot of
yeah,
people are going to realize this when they see the Ball podcast, they see all these things, and they realize the only people who are getting rich off this is those celebrities that own this company and the Royal Dubai family. These are the people that are making money off you guys, and they're only paying them 12%.
yeah,
Something needs to be
definitely.
done about it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that sentiment. Speaking of that, do you think there is still an active fighter right now in the UFC that they're trying to protect from these substances? Like they still let them fight even if they know they're taking something.
Well, that happened with the Vito incidents and the other guy, right? An email slipped up that he was caught for his fucking drug use or whatever, and they still let him fight. This company is just corrupt.
What makes you think that they don't want to give that clause to you? Like why don't they want to not take the pay of the opposite fighter? I mean, the money's not going to you, it's going to them. You just want a fair shake, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they didn't just put the clause in, and I didn't. And it's just the same thing as like when I asked for all these things. All these things, I was sick of fighting these guys, and they're getting away with it, and they wouldn't put the clause in. I mean, it just blows my mind why they wouldn't, and he wouldn't do it. It's just so annoying to be honest, and that's why I got a bit upset and sour working for their company and making to the top fighters in the world in a different sport and thinking, what's the point of this? These guys are just when they get to the top, they got to fight even harder. Not only in the octagon or
Yeah.
where it is, they got to fight their management. They got to fight the company to try and get more money. I mean, what other sport that's the best in the world is asking for more money? And you've got some of these UFC champions getting their faces bloody kicked in and saying, "Oh, yeah, I would like to have more money, please." Fuck. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no company without the fighters. I can tell you, the fighters have got all the power, and the people that support this company have got all the power. Everything can change in an instant, and there'll be no UFC and no fucking dickhead Dana White talking shit.
Yeah, definitely you've opened a lot of minds with that. We have a question from one of the fans named Lester. Why don't you think that there is a UFC fighters union already? Why isn't it still a thing?
Well, because when we tried that before, too many people wanted to be the Chiefs. There's not enough Indians. I mean, I think there needs to be a few fighters on the board, a union, and some lawyers on the board. There should be an actual union, and people say that the fighters would get a pay cut and everything. That's bullshit. You get paid what you're worth, but you're sharing not 12%, 40%. That's what bloody idiotic people think because they don't understand about contracts. And some other idiots said, "Oh, all the people that fight at the main event gets a part of the pay per view." Bullshit. The only people that get part of that pay per view is the champions, and it depends on what deal they cut. It could be 50
Yeah.
cents. It could be whatever. Who knows? But that idiot that said that on my social medias, you have no idea. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, definitely. And also with regards to that, like, do you feel you're gonna have a boxing match, right? Did you have a clause that your opponent needs to be tested, or there's a
That's the
clause if
first thing
he,
I put. I put on that the money gets taken off this fool if he gets caught cheating.
yeah,
I don't. I
because
mean, why would I want to fight otherwise? It's just. I mean, I don't understand why you would have put that clause in. It's not like if the guy gets caught cheating for doing one for breaking the contracts, then he shouldn't get any money. Because
yeah,
I mean, if the guy is cheating and he kills that person, what happens? Should it be a
yeah.
criminal offense? Yeah, he should go to jail for life.
Yeah, definitely, because serious implications could happen because of it. Are you following the sport in any way? Like, are you watching still the three organizations like One, Bellator, UFC?
I watched a little bit of one because an Australian guy is fighting on there, but I don't. And Bellator, there's a couple of people from this side of the world fighting on it, but I don't support UFC or I just I'm like I said, I was upset that at my end of my career I got cheated out of my career, and it isn't fair. And just because I'm not the world champion, just because they think I'm just a small person, I don't think so. I mean, I don't care how much money you got. You won't do that to me. You won't. I'll always go to the right way. I don't give a shit about your money or anything. I don't care.
Yeah,
You're not
definitely.
gonna go with
Now,
your money. You're gonna be like the rest of us and die in a box without nothing. All the
yeah,
silver and gold are gold. It's not yours.
yeah. One of your friends though, like the one you ran with this morning, Tuivasa, is under that organization. Have you given him advice regarding how he would handle his career or picking his matches?
Well, I mean, like me, I don't pick my matches. I just get told they ask you want to fight, and I'm always saying yes. Always. It doesn't matter whether it's a week out or something. I'm always saying yes. But when things end up the way they do, I get upset, and I don't think I get a fair deal. I've taken fights without even training because I mean, but that's because I want to compete. But when it becomes unfair, I don't like to compete. And with Ty, I mean, he's his own man. He's his own. He's
Mhm.
got his own career. I mean, he's been with me for a long time. I mean, he's only 27 now. I had him when he was younger, but it's his choices that he makes, and he's his own boss. I mean, I can't tell him what to do or this and that or whatever. He can see from what's. I mean, a lot of the guys I work with, they know my situation and my feelings with this company, and they know
Yeah.
that. I mean, I can't tell them what to do, and I don't try and tell them what to do. I just say, you know what, I'm trying to make things better for you guys, for all the boys and girls coming through. I'm just trying to make things better, and that's all. I don't give it. My time is up. I know I've been in the company. I'm out of the company. I'm just trying to make things better.
Now, speaking of that, like you've given significant contributions. You have one of the best fights there, and all of that. Do you feel that they still should like recognize you? Would you accept if they gave you an offer to be in the Hall of Fame, or would you
Oh
just
hell no!
rather be?
Hall of Fame of what? For cheaters? Fuck that company, man. They're the worst. It's put fighting out of my system. It's really made me annoyed about fighting because all you boys and girls that are watching, the only thing you're gonna get when you make it to the top of the UFC, you're gonna be fighting for trying to get more money. You're gonna be arguing with this dickhead Dana White and saying, "Oh, can I have more money? Can I have this and that?" And you're the fucking world's best fighter. Why is
Yeah,
that?
definitely, man.
It's
That
a
is
joke, and
indeed.
I'm telling you, I mean, if they recognize me for this UFC, I'll stick the UFC belt up his fucking ass and the rest of this fame. I don't give a crap about UFC. They're just a garbage company, and they're just rip-offs.
Yeah, that is a sentiment that would validate everything that you have experienced. Now, with that, you mentioned that you lost your love for fighting. How
They
long did you
stole it.
stop?
They
They
don't lose it.
stole it.
They stole it.
Yeah, they stole it. Like, how long have you stopped training after going out of that company until you started training for boxing?
I've just recently got back. I've just recently got back the love of fighting. To be honest, I've just it made me a bit bitter. Working for over 20 years, actually over 3 decades of fighting for me. First fight, 16, 17 years old, and you know, and then two different sports, and now I'm here, and it's been a while. It's taken me nearly 2 years. I've been haven't done anything. I've just been focusing on business and family. I got this offer for boxing. I was like, you know what? I think it's time to finish my career now. 6 more fights, make some money. Um, I probably, if I lose this lawsuit, I have to pay for this lawsuit now. That's how sad it is these days. I got to fight the company trying to get a fair deal after they're the crooks. The only thing they got over anyone or over me is they have more money.
Yeah, definitely. And you did mention that you want six more fights. Is that going to be pure boxing fights? Because I'm sure there are companies right now in Japan and in Asia who's willing to have you in their roster.
Yeah, I'm just 2 boxing fights, I think, at home here and then in Sydney, and then I want to finish in probably Japan and mixed martial arts. I love Asia, I love Japan. I just want to finish my career happy.
Now, speaking of that, like, could we like assume that it's gonna be Ryzen if we're talking about Japan?
I don't know. It depends. I just want to have these two boxing fights and see how I go. Being 46, it is out for 2 years. It is kind of hard to try and um, train with them. I mean, training with Ty and them. I'm like, wow. You realize the age difference in the body. I mean, the mileage on this body
Yeah.
I mean, the mind is strong. The heart is strong, but the body
Hmm.
it's hard to take this kind of training. The running, um, it's not as easy when you get to my age. You're not supposed to be doing this at my age. But I'm a fighter. I got kicked out of the end of my career from UFC, and I want to finish my career happy on my terms.
Yeah, definitely. Now let's take some questions from the audience. This question comes from Mark Striegel. He's one of the champions in the local MMA scene here. His question is: please ask Mark how he came up with the butt bomb technique he used against Vanderlei. I remember watching it live on TV and being amazed. Wow, you inspired a lot of fighters here.
Yeah, I like play Street Fighter, so E Honda's a character in there, and that's from E Honda. So yeah.
Wow, who would have thought you learned a move from a video game,
You
man?
didn't know that? I
That's
love it.
amazing.
Hey, I'm a gamer. I'm a video guy. I love games. I love Counter Strike. I love playing games. I'm old school, man. I've been
Are you
playing games
playing?
for like over 20 years.
How about right now? Have you tried the newer games, like the newer
I,
games?
I play Tekken with my son when he comes and he gets a bit angry that I beat him. And I play zombies and COD, and that's about it. I don't play any other games. I just started playing back to Counter Strike, to be honest, and only because I have friends that play. There's too many cheaters on that game.
Yeah, I think you don't want to play much games
No,
when
trust me, I
there are
know. I've been there,
cheaters.
and I had an account that I spent over $20,000 in skins, and it
Yeah.
pissed me off every time because I'd play the game. I've been playing the game for over 20 years, and all you get on there is just cheaters, and so I just downloaded the cheat myself and started cheating, and I got caught and banned.
Oh
I
man.
got caught, man. Then you know what? Then I said, I'm not fucking playing this game anymore.
So it's just recently Counter Strike. You do Tekken with your son. So does that mean when you're playing Counter Strike, it's just you and your friends, right? You don't go online and play with other
Well,
players,
it's
because
online, but you play as a team
oh,
because Counter
okay.
Strike is, I think it's 5 on 5. Yeah, so you play as a team, and I just play with the guys I know. I play with my son sometimes, and yeah,
I mean, your son right now, like your kids, do you think that they have the you would you let them go to this sport, or would you prefer that they do something else?
preferably to do something else. I mean, fighting is not for everyone. I mean, I'll support my kids whatever they do. I mean, fighting is some of the best fighters in the world came from very poorness, from being poor, and I'm one of those guys. I was just good, great, and like I said, I don't think Noah has any issues with that. I mean, I want him to enjoy his childhood as much as he could, but I mean, being one of the best fighters in the world and still feel like that. I mean, I came from nothing.
And also, I don't think you want him to go through what you went through unless they change the system, right?
Well, he's not gonna. I mean, there's no way I want him to be a part of any big leagues, especially the way they do things these days. I mean, a simple clause, especially for the guys that are cheating, a simple clause will fix that. I mean,
Yeah,
making them, them making no money from cheating, just puts the message out there. It's not good to cheat here. But what the UFC is saying to all the people, the boys and girls watching this, they're saying it's okay to cheat. We'll just let you slide if we like you. If you give us make a lot of people watch, we'll let you slide. And that's what they've been doing. You can see it in their history. They let people slide when it suits them.
yeah, that is indeed true. Now let's just go back to video games, because the audience got excited when they found out you were playing. Do you have a streaming channel? Because they want to see if you're streaming some games and they'd love
I
to
I
see you online.
I used to Twitch, but I just look, man. I stopped twitching because I talk a whole lot of shit online while I'm gaming, and I'm kind of volatile on gaming. I know gaming where you can be have an alter ego and say whatever, but that's
Yeah.
just I'm just it's not healthy. It's not healthy to be yelling and going yum. And I get really into the game. I'm passionate about what I do, so I'm passionate about gaming, and I'm especially passionate about fighting. I'm especially passionate about my cause about this the steroids thing and the antitrust lawsuit, the RD Act.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, come on, who doesn't talk smack when they're playing. You should see me and my
Hey,
brother. The controllers fly all the time.
hey, man, I'm talking smack and I'm banging the fucking keyboard. Yeah, I'd have to pay for more keyboards all the time or screens and PC screens. Are just, I'm not good at losing online games.
Yeah, that makes two of us. And also, the fans are saying that also explains why you have a high KO percentage because you're always right on target as a gamer and as a fighter.
Hey, man, hand and eye coordination, man. DTR, distance, timing, reaction, man. Us gamers have got all the right hand and eye coordination, of course.
Yeah, and going through that, let's go back to there's a question by a fan again. I know you said you want to finish your career in Japan, but have you considered one championship? Because they're an Asian company. They do events in Japan, but they travel from time to time.
I've spoken to the boss. Of course, I've spoken to him already about competing, and that's the talk stopped. To be honest, so yeah, I think I offended him some way. I don't know how, but we were talking, but then it stopped. So yeah.
Well, I mean, anywhere you fight, man, I'm sure the fans would tune in. And again, Japan is a place where your name is one of those sacred names that they revere and they treasure. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to Japan, are you planning to pick like big name fights like a Fedor type? I mean, in terms of caliber.
Well, I mean, people are probably upset that I'm fighting a boxing fight against a footy player, but I mean, like I said, I haven't fought in 2 years. I was finishing it, thinking about ending it. I just I feel like I got cheated out of the rest of my career, end of my career. But I'm here now. I'm looking forward to getting back in there and doing a couple of boxing matches and then going finishing my career in mixed martial arts. I love MMA, and that's where I want to head to. But yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see what happens if I get a contract in talks. It's up to the company who they put there. But yeah, of course, I'll be trying to get this clause into every contract that I have to finish. And I mean, why should these guys that are cheating get any benefits? Why do we
that
allow
is
these guys to cheat and get the benefits? Because I mean, guys that cheat in society get punished for it. So why aren't they getting punished in the sport?
Yeah, definitely that is indeed true. Now, again, going back to boxing, someone asked here, you heard that Mike Tyson is planning on fighting again. What are your thoughts on it? And I mean, would there be a possibility if both of you would meet in a boxing match?
Well, I mean, he's already looking at fighting the Cannon or Holyfield. This is, I mean, I think it's like I said, he's a fighter, and it's totally up to him. I respect Tyson because he came from the streets, conquered the world, and he's had a crazy life. Yeah, I mean, whatever he decides and who he fights is totally up to him. I don't know how his body and his mind holds up at that age, but hey, man, when you're Mike, you can do whatever you want, bro.
Definitely, man. He is Iron Mike for a reason. Now, another thing with Mike, he has close ties with your former company. If ever there was an offer and your former boss was part of the deal, would you accept it? Or would you negotiate, or would it like you won't even entertain it?
The only thing I want to do to Dana is stick him in the fucking eye. But the thing is, like I said, all I asked for at the start of this whole scenario was I said, look, man, can you just put the clause in so these guys don't get any money for cheating? Don't give it to me, just take it off them. Just don't give them a cent. And they wouldn't even entertain that. I'm like, what do you guys lose from it?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean that
the
is
only person that loses is the cheater. So why wouldn't you do it?
also that's a fair thing to ask, given that it is you who would be fighting on the opposite side since you have experienced those before. And I mean, I'm thinking, I mean, the money's not going to you, so I mean it's going to be more for him. I really don't know also why
I,
he
I
doesn't want
I
that.
do think there's a bigger picture in this also. I do think, I mean, if I was a gambling man and I bet a lot of money on one of these guys that are cheating,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't you want to be in a lawsuit say, look, man, I just bet like $100,000 on this cat and he's fucking cheating on steroids. It becomes a no contest. What happens? There's a bigger picture here somewhere, and and that's probably why they don't want to do a lot of things. There's a lot of gambling involved in this shit.
Now, speaking of that, like would you be there are some fighters. There is a fighter that they allowed to fight with some picograms in his system.
Fuck that guy. He's a fucking knob. That guy. I mean, he's a cheater. And you know what? People let their class that guy is one of the best fighters in the world. It's gotta be fucking stupid. The only good thing
Oh,
that guy is taking shortcuts, running over women with drugs, pregnant woman. To be honest, the sad thing about fucking this John Jones, he's a great fighter, and I used to respect that guy for at one stage. But man, when that dumb company and that Jeff Novinsky that caught that guy, he's a rat too. He jumped ship and changed it and said, "Look, we only caught a picogram in this guy, and we caught it from the last time we caught him." And I'm thinking, wait a minute. It doesn't matter whether he's got a fucking little bit or a lot, picogram, whatever it is. He's still
yeah,
fucking cheating. Whether you caught it from last year or 10 years ago, he still has something in his system. Why are you guys allowing this fool to fight? And you know what's worse is they changed the whole show in 1 week. They didn't give a
yeah.
fuck about the fans. They just changed it in 1 week, and then when they all fought in California, all the fighters lost 10% of their purse.
Yeah, I
Ouch.
heard. Yeah,
Ouch.
definitely.
Why? It just blows my mind how these guys do these things and they get away with it. Why is everyone letting them get away with this shit? Why is the fighters allowing this to happen?
Yeah, definitely. That is indeed true. Now, like,
Blows my
how
mind.
do you feel with guys like Nate Diaz who speaks up when USADA is saying that he has this in his system? Then suddenly he says they have to retract it or he won't fight.
And what do they do?
They retracted it.
Exactly because USADA is full of shit. USADA is fucking with UFC and they're both corrupt. I mean, why does USADA bring out uh, the records of these fighters that get caught after the fights every time? Why do they? It comes out, oh, he got busted after the fucking fights, and all their bullshit excuses are he came later and got tested. He was tested this and that. They're fucking corrupt, man. There's no doubt in my mind they're corrupt.
What do you think is a proper testing protocol? Like, who should administer these tests to the fighters to make sure that it's a fair play for everyone?
It isn't fair now. These guys are in the pocket of UFC.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, there's no way that these guys are doing things fairly. And you can see it by the history. They do it all the time. It just becomes a joke. Um, I mean, the UFC based their testing off WADA, the World Anti-Doping, and yet a lot of the things they don't even enforce. They do things on their own terms, and the people I think are starting to realize this. They need to realize this. If they want their fighters to do things and change, they need to realize these things.
Yeah. So let's go back to fan questions. One question is from Mark Itasis, one of the upcoming fighters here in the Philippines. His question is: you're known as the king of walk-offs due to your technique walking away and stopping the attack when your opponent is down. How can you tell if the throw that you made or the punch that you made would be the end to the match?
I know that because I'm a great fucking fighter.
There you go.
That's
Just
how I
like
know that.
that.
Because I'm one of the best fighters in the world. That's how I know these things. No, it's just I'm just joking. That's just
No, it's
that's,
true, man. It's true.
that's just the you know any fighter would know these things. You can just feel it. I mean, it's yeah, you'll know. You know when you know, and if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah. Another cool thing with that walk-off KO is that it also shows your compassion to the fighters because other would just go keep punching until the referee stops. At least you know already it stops. You won't give extra damage to your opponent.
Because I'm a great fighter.
Yeah, there we go. That's just the answer. He's a
That's
great
the one
answer.
A. That's the one A.
Now, another question from Smith. Samoans are being recognized right now, like in pro wrestling, MMA, or even in movies. How proud are you, Uso? Yeah,
I'm of course I'm proud. I mean, from a small island that the Polys have done well. A lot of the Polynesians do well. I mean, it's a good thing to see a lot of people from my Polynesians doing well. It's a good thing.
yeah, and like they are portrayed as badasses in films like The Rock and Roman, and they also put their heritage or their traditions in it, like doing the haka. And one of the question here is, have you danced the haka?
course, of course I have. Yeah.
So there we go. That's from the outlaw John Adahar. So like with all of that happening, like you're going two boxing matches and your plan is in Japan. I mean, is it like is there anything else like any like stipulation that would change your mind to work for any other organizations?
Well, I'm a prize fighter. I fight for money.
Mhm.
I've got things I've got to look after and pay for, and that's, I mean, well, I mean that's what prize fighters do. We fight for money. That's what it is. I mean, I'm
Um
not trying to shit in your pants or
mhm.
whatever it is. This is what we do. You know, like I said, I only the best eat at the table. So I mean,
Yeah,
I've been doing it for
definitely.
long enough.
Yeah, that is indeed true. And yeah, with speaking of the money, like if someone would offer you like a huge amount of money, but won't agree to like if he gets caught, he won't get his pay. Would you agree to that or no?
I mean, for the situation with the UFC, especially with the steroid clause, that's all I ask for. I mean, I want it. It's not fair otherwise. All I want. I mean, you look at the Tour de France with Lance Armstrong. I mean,
Yeah.
he was racing and he was number one. The number I think it was the 42nd guy was the one that wasn't cheating. So 40 something people were cheating in that race. Can you believe it? And the
Yeah.
42nd person is the one that didn't cheat. So that 42nd person should have got all the money. His kids should have got better advantages, should have got better everything. But what did he get? He got nothing. So all these 42 people have cheated this guy out of a better life and his kids out of a better life. And what's so sad about it? Look at the difference from number one to 42. That's the difference in steroids and performance enhancing drugs. And
How many per
that's just racing bikes.
Yeah, how many percent of the fighters in the roster of that company do you think are under performance enhancing drugs?
Which company?
The UFC.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. To me, I fought three, four in a row. I mean, I have no idea. Like I said, I mean, other companies I used to work with before, they didn't say they had the best testing policies in the world. They asked me
Yeah.
if I wanted to fight, and I said
Mm-hmm.
yes. UFC said they have the best testing policy in the world. Yeah, they do, but why don't you enforce them? Do they enforce them? No, they enforce them when they want to enforce them. Okay,
Yeah,
and
that
that's the problem. They don't enforce them when they needed to be enforced. So all these guys are getting away with cheating and just saying, it pays to cheat. I'll take 2 years off, but I'll make 20. That's what Lesnar did. He said, I'll get caught here, but I'll do 20. I'll get 20 mil, whatever the fuck it is, and I'll sit out for 2 years. Fuck this.
yeah, man. And you got the shorter end of the stick. We have a question here
Yeah,
regarding your friend Tai. Is the shoey really a thing in New Zealand, or is that just something he does?
that's an
Like,
Australian thing. I'm in
oh,
Sydney. I'm not originally from New Zealand, but that's an Australian thing.
oh, okay.
Um, that's an Aussie thing. Yeah.
Have you tried it? Has he
I've tried
given
it
you a
once.
shoe?
I tried it with the boys in Perth. Um, you
Oh,
know, um, it was for my shoe, so I mean, it wasn't everyone didn't spit in it, but I was like, oh, it's kind of filthy to be honest. I mean, everyone's spitting in the shoe, and then they put beer in it. But hey, that's his thing, and he's doing really well, Ty. So it's good.
yeah. I could imagine. I could imagine doing it. So it's really a brotherhood thing to do. What is your most satisfying win in your MMA career?
My most satisfying win was competing at my age when I was working for UFC, but before competing at my
Mhm.
age and still competing with the young guys in the world. Um,
Mhm.
you know, after that it turned all backwards. So yeah.
Now, again, this is Fight Sport Manila, so we're in the Philippines. Some fans are asking, are you willing to do meet and greets in the Philippines, or go have a fight here if it's possible?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm doing a lot of things at home with my family and business and things like this. I mean, if I get an offer to fight in the Philippines, of course. I just, like I said, I did. I just come back from being happy, from being upset, working for the UFC. It's taken a while, nearly 3 years now, to be honest,
Hmm.
and I'm glad. I mean, I know what I did was right, and I was sick of going to work for them and being cheated.
Yeah, and
I just
standing
didn't
up
feel
for
like
what you believe.
yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't feel it was fair, and I just, you guys gotta stop doing this to people. I mean, you can't keep bloody doing this to people. It's dangerous. Fighting is dangerous, and people can get really, really hurt.
Yeah, I can only imagine, especially like you said, you got injured and you sat down like almost a year while your opponent just got suspended for 9 months. So he fought faster than you did. Um, with that being said, like you mentioned, you're just gonna have 6 fights, but what if your hunger came back? Is this 6 fights definite, the last 6 fights, or are you willing to extend if you find that love again?
Well, I mean, I've got the love now, and I just want to, like, I need to make some money. I want to fight. I want to finish my career, but not come back. I mean, it's hard enough as it is now, being 46 and competing. The fighting is easy. It's the training that's hard. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like I said before, the mileage on the body, the mileage of running, the mileage of skipping, of weight training, of sparring. I've got over 3 decades of fighting in me. I
yeah,
mean, look at my
definitely.
face. Look at
Yeah,
my
man.
face. I go.
But you're
I've been
still
fucked
the
up.
beast, man. You're
I know, but
still the
it's
beast.
just it's a hard. I was I mean, look at the young guys, and I think, you know what, I'm glad I'm on the down home stretch to end my career, but I'm happy. I'm really happy at the moment. I just want to finish my career happy.
What do you plan to do after fighting? Like, do you plan to open your own gym or start a
Business.
business?
Well, I mean, I got 3 already with my partners. 25 fit gyms. I mean, I've got a few businesses on the rise. There's a lot of things I want to do. Business wise, I want to spend a lot of time with my kids. I spent a lot of years trying to chase money to give my kids better opportunities. But like I said, I came up against the fucking wall of cheaters, and a company called UFC was just promoting cheaters. It just wasn't fair. I got bitter, I got down. But trying to make things better for the people coming through is my goal. And that's all I want to do. I want to open up management to help people, help the fighters that are choosing this path and that are good enough. Because, I mean, fighting is really hard. Only the best eat at the table. Only the best.
So when you say management, you plan to manage fighters after your
Fighters,
uh,
well, whoever, a management company will look after a lot of people. And fighting is pretty much like the rest of everything else. I mean, fighting is like life, to be honest. I mean, you just
yeah.
gotta, you gotta know the numbers, with everything. I mean, with the Ali acting, coming into MMA, it
Hmm.
shows the numbers and shows a lot of things, a lot of clarity. People can't hide what the UFC are doing, hide the kind of revenue they're generating and what they're giving to the fighters.
Yeah.
They
And
disclose ridiculous amounts, and you see what they give the fighters is fucking garbage.
yeah, definitely. Especially now that you explained it, like 12% compared to the 40 is so little.
Okay,
Like
so
how? Mhm.
imagine if they made $100 million just for one year, 12% of $100 million, and the fighters share all of that. What is that?
Yeah. The
It's got,
fighter
and
share all of it.
you know,
Okay.
they're making way more than that. They're $1 billion company making shitloads and giving the fighters jack shit. I just hope the fighters don't wake up and realize it's got to be a group effort, and that's the only way that can be done.
Man,
And then
I
it takes
thought.
a lot of the top guys. I think a lot of the top guys need to just say, I mean, just regardless of the fact that I dislike John Jones for his stupid antics, guys like him, Nagano, all these other guys need to stand up and say, you know what, we don't want to do this. You need to pay better. 12% isn't good enough.
Yeah, man. When you said 12%, I thought 12% per fighter. You mean to say the whole roster are sharing that 12% purse? Man, that
That's what
that
yeah,
is.
that's pretty much what it is.
Now, like, do we have an update on the Ali Act? If like, how far is it to being processed and being?
They've been in it for 6 years. We've been in it for 6 years. They've been battling. I think it's cost the UFC a lot of money. They don't want this in because it just shows a lot of transparency with all their dealings in there. But I think I don't know if I won't say it, but should be some change of it soon. I think they're waiting for a ruling, and then hopefully things change.
Now,
With my
speaking.
lawsuit, I think we're here this week about what's going
Mhm.
to happen, whether it goes to trial or whether the judge throws it out. I mean, if the legal system actually works, this will be going straight to trial. And I'd
Yeah,
like to
that
see
is.
what else the UFC are hiding. I'd like the whole world to see what kind of corruptness these guys are cheating people with. And the
Yeah.
people, and
Now,
they say it's business, Mark. This is business. Bullshit. Don't give me that horse shit that this is business. This is people's lives. This is personal.
Yeah,
This is people's lives. People's kids you're dealing with. Fucking
yeah,
idiots.
definitely. That is indeed true. Now, with that being said, you are one of the most prominent faces when it comes to speaking out against the UFC. Who are the other, or could you name us other athletes who are supporting you in this cause?
Well, the Ali Act and with his Randy Couture. There's a few other different fighters, but all the fighters that should be joining is the fighters that are currently in it. But I know their situation. They can't speak up because even with they brought in this new law into their contracts. It's like you can't speak up of the COVID, you can't speak up of the company, or this and that. It's just it just blows my mind. Like I said, it gives me a headache.
But
And
do
I'm
you
not even
guys
in the
like?
company anymore.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it is true. Yeah, have you guys? But are you guys still continuing to like proactively talk to them? Like I said, I saw you on a podcast talk to Masvidal. Aside from Masvidal, have you communicated with the other athletes regarding this?
Well, all the athletes that they used to work for UFC from 2010 to 2019, they can join the Ali Act. All of them can. You know, when we
Now,
win this, they won't get any. They need to be part of it. To be honest.
now we have
So
this
you
good.
know, the guys that were
Mhm.
part of the UFC from that time frame, they need to join it, and it doesn't cost them anything. It hasn't costed me a cent. It's just, you just need to join, and that's basically what it is.
Yeah. Now we have a good question here from Jampong Omak. What do you think of Dana White's handling of the UFC in light of the COVID-19 crisis? Do you think there is enough safeguards for everyone involved?
Well, you can see Dana doesn't give a shit for anyone involved. He honestly doesn't give a shit about anyone but his pockets.
Mhm.
He only
Like,
cares about making money, and that's it. He's the businessman.
what are your
He
thoughts
works for
regarding
his
Fight
company, and that's it.
Island?
That's his job. I don't give a fuck about no fight island. Who gives a fuck about fighting under the toilet in the fucking island or the backyard alley? Who gives a? I honestly don't give a shit about their shit island or whatever they're doing. I don't
Mhm.
support that company anyway. Watching their
Mhm.
shows, it's hard. It's hard enough knowing guys that actually work in that company, knowing that they're getting paid pittance while this bald-headed prick is driving around in this Ferraris laughing at everyone.
Yeah. Now, with this a boxing fight you're having in September, are we expecting a live crowd, or is it going to be an empty arena kind of scenario?
I don't know. It's just September is like what we were thinking. You know, the COVID's got everyone in trouble, so I don't know, whether it'll be there or longer. Who knows what's going to happen because of um, this virus thingy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
definitely. Now, aside from yourself, can you name any other fighter from any organization that you truly believe was clean his entire career?
I know. To be honest, I don't know, and I don't. That's got nothing to do with any of that. Questioning me or these persons about this and that, it's got nothing to do with it. And I don't really care. What I'm talking about is what happened with the company when I was there, and that's all I'm interested in doing. I mean, it, it, I could ask you all questions about your life and everything, but for my situation with the lawsuit, it's not about me. It's about what they've done.
Yeah, and actually, this lawsuit could open up doors and give better futures to future fighters and current ones who are afraid to speak out because again they're afraid of losing their livelihood.
Yeah, but they must understand their livelihood's never going to change. They're going to get paid. They think they'll get to the champion spot and get better money. No, you're not going to. Trust me. Look at the champions now. Look at there's a few of them. Stipe at one stage asked for more money. There was a lot of guys asking for more money, and why? Because this is what's happening.
Yeah, that is
Guys like
true.
me are telling you what's happening from experience and seeing this. You're no different. You're not different fighter. You've got to actually make it there, and then you're going to start battling. Trust me, I've been there. I know it. Don't try and you learn from other people's mistakes and experiences. Trust me, that's what you got to do, not from your own.
Yeah, that is indeed true because like guys like Henry Cejudo said he's gonna retire if he's not gonna get the proper pay. Stipe was one of the ones who want good pay.
There's a lot of fighters that have spoken and said, and you know what? They became quiet. Well, you know why they became quiet? Because the UFC
Uh-uh.
paid them.
Oh,
They,
okay.
they paid them to shut the fuck up and keep quiet. but they paid him even probably less than what they should be getting.
So probably it's just like a 15% thing, not a 40, right?
Exactly. Well, look at me. I'm one of the highest. Used to be the one of the highest paid with him. Why? But now
Yeah,
they're
definitely.
getting the other end of it because we started with the steroid thing, and they wouldn't even put a clause in the contract for these guys that are cheating. They wouldn't even do that. I'm thinking, why would you want to do that? Why would you not just put the clause in? I mean, I don't get his money. The money will just
Yeah,
go back into whatever it is for the catching of these other guys. But they wouldn't do it. Why?
yeah, definitely.
Anyway,
Anyways, regarding that, man, we're almost an hour in, and we thank you for your time. But before we let you go, is there anything that you would promote aside from your September fight, like anywhere these people could find you, or if you're gonna possibly start twitching again, because Counter Strike and all those fighting games, everyone's excited. If you could
I
reread the
mean,
comments after
look,
this,
man. I
bro.
mean, I don't think you should support me. I think what you need to do is support the fighters that are trying to come through and the UFC fighters by not supporting the UFC. Support the fighters by not supporting the UFC. If you support the UFC, you're giving money to these other guys. You're not giving the money to the fighters. If you want the fighters to get more money, don't support the UFC. Support Bellator. Support some other company. I mean, these guys have got mainstream and they're screwing everyone.
And yeah, last thing you mentioned Bellator. Do you think Bellator does better businesses than UFC?
Well, I don't know how Bellator works because I've never worked for them. But like I said, I'm only speaking about my experience and where I came from. And I know from the main company, which is the UFC, that's what I speak on. I don't speak on other companies because I've never been there.
Now, Mark, if you could read the comments again after the show, you would see that a lot of people are very happy you are here. They call you a legend, an icon, a true veteran of
I'm
the
old.
sport.
I'm old. I know that. I'm old.
Well, come on, man. You're going to fight in September. I think
Hey, that doesn't
we
mean
feel more
I might be.
older than
Hey,
you.
I might be old, but it doesn't mean I can't fucking fight. That's for sure.
That is true. Thank you so much for joining us, Mark. And we
All
hope
right,
we do
guys.
this again
Thanks for your
sometime in
time.
the future. No
And
worries.
keep spreading the word, guys. Keep spreading the word and trying to make things better for these fighters. That's all it is.
Definitely, Mark. You're a hero. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Mark Hunt. What an amazing show. That was eye opening. What do you think of everything he said regarding fighter pay or regarding how they are treated and how, fighters should stick up together so that the future will be better? Sound it down in the comments below. Again, thank you so much, Bad Boy Philippines, for sponsoring our clothes. And we are giving away, again, some giveaways. Keep commenting. We will randomly pick a winner of this blue shirt. And later, after the show, probably 8, because we still have some stuff to do, we will post the mechanics on our Instagram. So make sure you're following us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Also do that to Bad Boy PH. And if you see George Castro, give him a big thank you, because without him, this won't happen. Again, Paulo Gonzales, Fight Sport Manila, bringing the fighters closer to the fans and the fans closer to the fight. This is Verbal Sparring.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Fight Sport